Baby loss. This is a difficult video to record, and I want to start by saying that if you've come across this and you are currently experiencing this, have just experienced it, have past experience of it, anything that is relatable and this is upsetting or triggering, then please choose you. Choose what's right for you and scroll, or save it and come back to it when you feel more able to watch it. Because this is me sharing me, but I am very conscious that I don't want to cause any unnecessary upset to anybody else that this might resonate with or relate to. I am talking of my own experience. I am talking about miscarriage rather than baby loss after birth. But of course, it's all valid and your experience is what's true and, personal to you. And the reason I'm sharing it now is because it's surfaced for me in this last week as the snake year closed and we moved into the lunar new year. I absolutely know, and I'm grateful for the fact that this has happened now, because it was a chapter, a loop that needed to close. And having done that and had a couple of days of a lot of tears and allowing that emotion to move through me, the shift in me today is profound. It was an incredibly cathartic experience. And it's emotional because I haven't spoken about it in this way before. This is probably not making a lot of sense, and it's really hard to articulate. I've experienced baby loss twice. The first time was the 8th of November 1988, and the second time was the 29th of November 1989. The first time I miscarried at home. The second time it was classed medically then as a missed abortion. Now I think they've changed it to a missed miscarriage, because that's probably a nicer way to say it, which means that basically my baby died, but my body didn't seek to abort the pregnancy. So I started to lose blood, was put on a week's bed rest, was taken back into hospital for a scan to be told there was no heartbeat. Our baby had passed away a week before. I had been carrying our dead child in my womb for a week. Probably on some subconscious level, I knew the day it happened, once they said it was a week ago, because of how I'd felt on the day. But of course, every fibre of your being wants it to not be true, wants the blood loss to not mean that anything is wrong. And in many situations, particularly in early pregnancy, it isn't. It is just one of those things and everything turns out fine. And I was then admitted to hospital for them to do a procedure to remove my dead baby. This was at 9 weeks pregnant. The first miscarriage was around the same time, although not as specifically dated. And it gets dismissed. It gets dismissed. There's no closure, there's no funeral, there's no validation or identity. It's just, it's one of those things. I don't know whether anything's changed, but back then they didn't test to see if anything was wrong until you'd had 3 consecutive miscarriages. That might have changed, I don't know. This is a long, long time ago, 30 over 36 and 37 years respectively. I didn't expect this to all surface now. The reason why it was so meaningful, I guess, was because the first experience, I was encouraged to brush it under the carpet and move on. I missed my period, had a pregnancy test done at the family planning clinic, as was the case then. It was negative. I started getting symptoms of nausea and breast tenderness and all of the pregnancy sort of symptoms. And at 8 weeks, they retested me and it was still negative. But I had an internal examination at the time that said you're 7 to 8 weeks pregnant, was the conclusion from that. Come back at week 10 and we'll test you again. And at week 12, we'll do a scan. So even if we don't get a positive pregnancy test, the scan will confirm your pregnancy. I never made it to week 10. I started feeling unwell, had strange sensations in my stomach, a bit dizzy and faint, and then a little bit later I had some spotting, and then in the afternoon I had cramps and I miscarried my baby into the toilet. It was shocking, it was harrowing, it was upsetting, traumatic. I didn't know what to do. I made a phone call to someone, upset, and their reaction surprised me because it was very much, well, you weren't sure you were even pregnant. Why are you choosing to believe it was a miscarriage? It was just a late period. Just treat it like a late period. Don't put yourself through that emotional distress. Just move on. You're young. There'll be more times to be pregnant. And I was really shocked by that. I know that they were trying to be kind. I know that they were trying to say, if you can tell your brain you weren't pregnant and it was just a late period, then that's easier. I get that. But obviously it didn't help me at the time. Everyone around me took that stance, apart from my GP, who was brilliant. I then went back to the bathroom and flushed the toilet. I felt sick to the stomach, and that's haunted me for a very long time, that I flushed my dead child, our dead child, down the toilet like it was nothing, like it was just human waste, like it didn't matter. And then my brain buried it. I always referenced it in a medical situation. When I got pregnant the second time, I had a very faint positive. So I went to my GP, they retested it, faint positive. Let's scan you at 8 weeks to make sure everything's okay because of what happened before. I saw the heartbeat, everything was fine. A week later I was bleeding. A week after that we were being told our baby was dead. I then went on to have 2 amazing, healthy, beautiful children. And when I was back at the clinic, I told them about my previous experiences. It's on my antenatal cards for my 2 children that I have now, that I had 2 miscarriages. But all of these years it got buried, and a chain of events has led to things coming back up in my memory and clues in my medical records and different things that brought it all back to the surface. I saw a medium and then had various spiritual encounters that confirmed this, and that baby was a little boy and my second miscarriage was a little girl. This week I had a heartfelt, hard conversation with my ex-husband about our shared baby loss experience and needing to validate that pregnancy, and that I'd chosen names for our baby our babies that he was completely in agreement with. So after 36 and 37 years respectively, I've been able to name my beautiful angel babies and move through this upsetting process and the loss, and shift my energy into one of feeling so deeply connected with them spiritually now. That has massively helped and brought so much comfort. But being able to validate that, being able to give them an identity, a name, and bring closure to that was so important. I'm going to have to do a part 2 because I've run out of time.